Hello, my name is Whitney Morales, and today I'm going to be explaining the strategies to summarize information, their characteristics, and use. So let's start. There are different strategies we can use to summarize information, mostly in genre titles, stories, books, etc. But for me, these ones, the three I have picked, I think are easier to use, not difficult, and not complex. So the first one is the SAAC strategy. The second is the 5W8 1H, and the three is somebody wanted but so dead. So let's know more about the first one. The SAAC strategy. This method is perfect for students or learners, EFL learners that are learning to use a summary and its context. However, this really is not really helpful when trying to know or figure it out what to add because of the acronym. It just gives us a clue about how we can make up a summary. So the state is for state the book's name, assign the author's name, the action is the author's performance or activity, and complete the summary with the main points or elements. Now, an example. Here I have an original summary and then my summary with the strategy applied. So it's a paragraph or Pride and Prejudice that says Pride and Prejudice is a romantic novel by Jane Austen, published anonymously in 3 volumes in 1813, a classic of English literature written with incisive wit and superb character delineation. It centers on the Burgonian relationship between Elizabeth Bennet and she is the daughter of a country gentleman and Fitzwilliam Darcy, a rich aristocratic landowner. So with this strategy, state Pride and Prejudice, the name of the book, assign the authors, Jane Austen, 1813, the action, tales, because she is a telling, a romantic novel, and complete. Pride and Prejudice is one of the famous and romantic novels written by Jane Austen in 1813, in which she recounts the complex relationship between Elizabeth Bennet, a country girl, and Fitzwilliam Darcy, a wealthy high society man, and all that they will have to go through. Now, the second is the 5WAS1H strategy. This method is related to the 6WH questions, who, what, when, where, why, and the 1H, how. With this, it's easier to know where the main points or main characters or the principal points or elements are. So it goes like this. Who is the article, story, or book about? What are they doing? When the story or book takes place? When the story or book takes place, where the story or book happens, why did the characters or main characters do what they did, and how did the characters or main characters do what they did. So another example, again, the original and the summary with the strategy applied. This is a research about how anxiety and how physical training or exercise affects and the benefits that happen on people or patients that suffer for severe depressive anxiety. So, according to Matthew P. Herring, 2021, training reduces anxiety symptoms among healthy adults and patients with a chronic illness. Exercise training benefits patients with major depressive disorder, which is highly comorbid with God, and may be influenced by similar genetic factors. And exercise has salutary effects on other signs and symptoms that characterize GAD patients, including fatigue and poor concentration. Now, with the strategy, Matthew P. Herring is the doctor who wrote the article and made a study. What? He claims that exercise training brings benefits to patients with major depressive disorders and reduces anxiety symptoms. When? 2021. Where? The University of South Carolina. Why? To understand the psychological consequences of resistance exercise training and the favorable effects in an early trial of anxiety patients. How? By the use of different diagnostic and questionnaire studies. The summary: Matthew Behaire in 2021 claims that exercise training brings 5 real benefits to patients that suffer from anxiety and depressive disorders, but it's important to understand the psychological consequences likewise that exercise training offers to early-stage patients with anxiety. So this strategy is really great because it helps me to, from one paragraph, helps me to break down and make my summary. The third one is somebody wanted that so then strategy. This method is helpful for stories, mostly for stories, because it's when you want to summarize a story and you want to know the main elements. So if you are reading a story about history or, I don't know, fiction, this strategy may help you. So each word has a purpose. Somebody means who is the story talking about. Wanted means what the main characters want. That means to recognize a problem that the characters can find or they can face. So means the solution that the characters can find. What is the solution? How he is going to solve the problem. And then means how the story finishes. Here I have an example and the strategy already applied. So this is a story about the tale about the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So loosely based on the famous fairy tale by the brothers Grimm, the plot is set into motion when a vain, wicked queen consults her magical mirror and learns that her beautiful stepdaughter, Snow White, is now the fairest in the land. Instantly resentful, the queen enlists a woodsman to murder Snow White, but he cannot commit the act and exhorts the young girl to escape. In the forest, Snow White discovers a cottage inhabited by 7 eccentric dwarfs, who warmly welcome her into their home after she offers to cook and clean for them. The queen eventually learns of Snow White's whereabouts and, disguising herself as an old hag, fatally poisons her stepdaughter with a tainted apple. The heartbroken dwarfs stand guard over the girl's body until a handsome prince restores her to life with a kiss. With the strategy already applied, somebody, Snow White, she wanted to be loved by her stepmother, so she ran away and was saved by the 7 dwarfs. Then, after an attempt to be murdered by the queen, a prince saved her with a kiss. Now, the summary is: Snow White was a princess who lived in a castle, but because of her beauty, her stepmother wanted to kill her. She ran away and met 7 dwarfs who helped her. When the evil queen found about her, lied to her, and poisoned her. Believing that she died, everyone was sad, but then a prince appeared and saved her with a kiss. So basically, these are the strategies, and there are so much more that we can use when we want to summarize. But to me, these are the ones that are really helpful. Thank you for watching, and I see you the next time.